Hello and welcome to In the Court of the Wenton Knave. We're doing all this King Crimson here, but we're not worthy of doing all this Crimson here. We're just celebrating the music. And we're doing Plymouth 71. Plymouth? Is it like Swansea? I really like this one. There's loads of great live stuff from this band. It's got a controversial period. I think it's great. This is a very, very early one. It's so early that it's actually before they recorded the album, and there are kind of early versions of songs on here, which is great. And the setlist is interesting. So that's good. A lot of work was put into this. I think they had a soundboard recording and they had an audience recording, and they mixed the two. Actually, I think there was actually there's bits missing from the soundboard, so they filled that in. But I think they've actually used a bit of mixing to get some ambience on the soundboard, which is fantastic. Because it sounds great. So it's a great companion to Collector's Cup 2 and Earthbound and Summit Studios. It goes with those. It's not just another one of the same stuff. It does sound like they were having a great time on tour at this point before the album came out. Osborne did a tap dancing encore because they had no more material, allegedly. As I said, the VCS, Peter Sinfield's synthesizer toy, so you could have an input on stage, I suppose, rather than just the lighting, is in full force here, and that's really annoying. He's obviously, I think, by this point, Peter Sinfield had gone away with the fairies, maybe, because some of the mixing and stuff going on is insane. Whether that was actually what was happening on stage or there's some problem with the recording, I'm not entirely sure, but what are you doing? So that's there. And that got better over time, particularly when he stopped doing it, to be honest. There is a drum solo. There's a drum solo, proper actual drum solo, not a little bit in a song, I mean an actual drum solo, where Ian Wallace would do like a parody of Carl Palmer. Carl Palmer would do his double bass drum and take his top off. Don't worry, I won't do it. Which was a very showy thing to do. Obviously it meant the double bass drum thing was wildly out of time while he was doing it. So it wasn't the best thing ever. But Ian Wallace did a copy of it, but got tangled up as he was getting his thing off, fell off, disappeared, climbed up somewhere at the top of some speaker stacks or something, and started firing drumsticks at the drums, and obviously Peter Sinfield's doing the effects on the VCS, so it's all, and so that's lots of fun. I mean, I'm all for that. I think that's great. That may have been during Groon, which they didn't play at this concert. I don't know. Track 1 is actually Cirkus. They open with Cirkus, not Pictures of a City, which seems really strange. It seems so obvious to open concerts with Pictures of a City, and it took them a while to realise that, because with retrospect it seems obvious. At least with the '69 band, it was a new unheard song, so when it first starts, you think you can get an audience recording, because the first bit of noise of audience sound and whatever is actually an audience recording until the music comes in. Oh man, Circus is good live with this band. They're just built to play this song, and I think they got better at it, but this is still awesome. It's still fantastic. Peter Sinfield's doing loads of stuff with the VCS. At the end of the vocal intro, arg is all I can say. It almost completely ruins it. I wish it wasn't there. It's okay, but I wish it wasn't there. The whole point is experimentation, isn't it? You try different things, so that's okay. But this is something that didn't work. That's my opinion. When that riff comes in, you don't mind. It doesn't matter. Oh, and it's strange how the song seems to be built for Boz. It's just perfect for Boz's voice, in a way Gordon Haskell was uncomfortable with. I don't think it's to everyone's taste though. Boz, he's very, very. He's got that really hard-edged sound to his voice. But it suits the music perfectly. A couple of slightly dodgy bass bits. The mix is dodgy. I don't know if this is Peter Sinfield doing something live because he's on drugs or whatever he's doing, I don't know. The sax comes in and out, or maybe he's trying to pan it, but it just goes really quiet and it's loud. And then, but Mel Collins is the star. Fantastic, fantastic sax playing on this period. I can't recommend it enough. But the way they've juxtaposed the quiet bits and the heavy bits is so awesome, and the band are really on that with lots of juxtaposition, probably more than as they went along. It's obviously finding its way, but it's still awesome. Track 2 is Pictures of a City. Great opener. They still have opened with it, but it's a really good open. A really sort of slinky version. They start the first verse really slinky and quiet, and it builds up. So again, they're doing heavy, extreme juxtapositions of different sections. And they haven't got they haven't really found their own way with this song yet. They're playing it much the same as how the '69 band played it, though the arrangement was slightly different. So there isn't the sort of call response bit with the guitar and the sax during the solo, and Fripp will do a little bit of the Lark's theme, and none of that's there yet. The 42 seconds at treadmill is fast. They played really fast here. I think probably the fastest I've heard it. Track 3 is the Sailor's Tale. This is probably one of the main reasons for getting this album, because it's an early version of Sailor's Tale and it's substantially different, quite a bit longer. And I think this is actually on the 40th anniversary of Islands because it's substantially different. It starts off with a different drum part, top thing. Loads of toms. There's an underwater kind of bit, because it's Sailor's Tale. And there's an extra Fripp solo bit after that, which is kind of like on the seabed, if you like. Then there's a really cool bit with just drums and flute, solo drums and flute, which is really nice. And then it reprises into what we know as the Sailor's Tale. Although, before it reprises, Peter Sinfield's doing a sea, washing of the sea sound. It just sounds like someone tuning a TV. And some loud mellotron. The mellotron's too high in the mix, and it's a bit wobbly. There's some weird stuff going on. But really cool version, really on the edge in that sense. That's great. Track 4, The Letters. I think dropping's better. Great vehicle for Collins, obviously, so it's going to be better live. Lots of VCS noises. Lady of the Dancing Water. Wonderful song. I like the way Boz sings it. Boz doesn't like it. He thinks it's fairy music. Lots of horrible VCS phasing on his voice ruins it. Wonderful song. So there's better versions of that where that's not happening. But fortunately, Cadence and Cascade isn't ruined. He hasn't put the effect on that. Probably realised it sounded horrible. Nice and clear. Boz is great at singing it. Another great version of Cadence and Cascade. Another great version of Cadence and Cascade. Track 7 on disc 2. This is Get Thy Bearings. It seems strange they're playing that because they didn't write it. It's from the 69 band, but you can see that what they're obviously doing, they're playing new stuff and they're playing stuff that's tried and tested live, not playing stuff that's on albums. So the only new song, apart from the new songs, is Cirkus and the ballads. The first bit is just audience recording. It's not a great audience recording, sadly. He sounds just like Lake. You can't even tell that it's who's singing. But it cuts in during the sax solo, and there is something in that I like. The way that it comes in. Oh, Mel Collins sax playing, clear. He's great. Just before 3 minutes in. And here, Mel Collins is a monster on this. And they start a kind of funky jam in the middle of it. And Wallace responds to that, but then into a quiet bit. And then a drum solo, as I said. I don't think the silly bit is in this bit. I don't think there's too much VCS stuff going on. But yeah, I mean, that's got to be one of the very last versions of Get Thy Bearings. We won't hear it again. They might play it in other concerts, but I don't think it's on the next two shows. And if it's not, that's it. What I haven't mentioned is after the drum solo, there is a VCS solo as well of noises. Great. I'm being very critical here. Track 8 is In the Court of the Crimson King. Not to be played very much after this. There's only a few more times we're going to hear this. As I said, it's strange that I'm not more big on this song. It's a great song though, obviously. Very similar to the way 69 band played it, arranged the same. Boz sings on the King bit, he sings the high bit, which was in MacDonald would do quietly with falsetto. He does it in full head voice. King! Whereas Greg Lake wouldn't do that. Because there's no backing vocalists as well. But apart from that, it's arranged the same as it was in 69. Track 9 is Ladies of the Road, and this is another one that's an early arrangement of it. And Boz is loud. He starts off really loud right at the start rather than quiet and then building up. It's a bit in your face. Very different arrangement though. Fripp does this Beatles-esque lick, which is really cool. He keeps doing it. It's really, really cool. He doesn't do it on the album. Questionable mix. I think part of the problem is the mix with it. That's okay. Then there's a Fripp announcement, and we get 21st Century Schizoid Man. Now this isn't, in a way, this isn't this band's version of 21st Century Schizoid Man, because early on they're playing it similar style to the way the 69 band played it, and it developed over time. So this isn't the one. If you want to hear this band's version of this song, this isn't the one. That's still to come. But they do find it. They find their own version, and it's different, and it's awesome. Last track is Mars. Yes, Mars. And it is the same arrangement and everything, but it's not there. Whatever that was there in 69, the crimsonness, isn't there. This is a different band, and it did quickly disappear from the set. I can see why, because that was a different band's repertoire, a different thing. You know, they've got to play their own stuff. So that's interesting. But yeah, real curiosity, really cool. I feel I was quite critical then, but I don't mean it that much. See you next week for not long after, at the Marquee 71.